When you replace an S with a Z, like they did with this title, it automatically makes the word cooler, man. How else do you think the Hardy Boys went from 2 detectives to 2 tag team champions? Delete, delete, delete. What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today, we are finally going to talk about this new Gorillaz album called Humanz. Now, this is their 5th studio album, and if you're not familiar with the Gorillaz, they're a virtual band made up of 4 cartoon characters, and they are actually a British band once you look into it, because it's made up of the comic artist Jamie Hewlett. He handles all the drawing, and Blur frontman Damon Albarn handles a lot of the production on here, and he also is the voice of 2D, one of the cartoon characters. So Gorillaz actually broke out onto the scene around 2001, at least that's when most people got familiar with them because of their self-titled album. And here, we were introduced to their unique style, where they were really blending a lot of different genres and bringing many different artists together. So I really did like that album. I think that's some of their best work. But I would say Demon Days is my personal favorite. I absolutely love that album. Pretty much every song on there is dope, great production, catchy hooks, and on that one, I think they really matched the features up nicely with the different production they had going on, because sometimes with the Gorillaz, they do get a little bit messy and sloppy, which I will be talking about in this review, but I just think Demon Days really came together nicely and is their best work. Now, after that, they came out with Plastic Beach and The Fall as well, but I didn't get into these albums too much. I do remember listening to a little bit of Plastic Beach and just kind of, not being into it. I guess maybe I wasn't feeling Gorillaz at the time or whatever, so I wanted to make sure that I reviewed this project because I wanted to see where they were at. And the thing about reviewing this album is that it was kind of difficult because there's so much going on here with different sounds, tons of features, and just, it honestly is a little bit jumbled, as I alluded to. I mean, it's 26 tracks, you got all these different people on here, a bunch of interludes scattered throughout, so this isn't really a project that's strong from beginning to end, but I do think people will find some things that they like about it. There's also a little bit of a concept here because Damon Albarn said that the theme here is just the world has gone through this life-changing event and people are just trying to cope and deal with it. And he did in an interview actually compare that to Trump becoming president. And as you listen through this project, you will notice that anytime Trump is mentioned, his name is actually blanked out because Damon didn't want to give him any more fame. His words, not mine. But in spite of all that, you do really get some political content on here, and you get it right from the start on Ascension featuring Vince Staples. I think he absolutely snapped on this, and he sounded right at home over the unique production style, because Vince has been known to do that. He always comes with different beats, and it's no different here, where he's rapping over these very frantic drums. And politically, he's just spitting a little bit about how he's from the land of the free, where you can be anything and do anything as long as you don't look like me. So I thought that was kind of dope how he was just speaking on what it's like to be an African American in America, because there's a lot of shit going on that I could break down, but hey, we've talked about it a million times by now in my reviews because political content is taking over 2017. He also has a bar on here about how someone is wet like Barbra Streisand, and I can't lie, man, that shit really threw me off because who wants to think about that old lady being wet? But apparently it has to do with an album of hers called Wet, so he wasn't talking about her grangina, which was kind of a nice surprise. Now, Pusha T comes with that political content as well on Let Me Out, and this is a song that really just deals with fear and change, again, because of all the different changes that are going on in the world, especially in America with the way the politics are going, because we're always seeing in the news all the crazy shit being said and done by the Trump administration. So on here, he's lamenting about how Obama is out and Trump is in, and then when you tie in those hard-hitting drums and beautiful vocals from Mavis Staples, you easily have one of the best tracks on here. I thought it just felt very powerful the way that it all came together. But if you are getting kind of tired of all the political content, don't worry, man, because the Gorillaz do have some really fun tracks on here just for dancing and having a good time. I especially like Strobelite. This one is just this funky R&B joint, and honestly, it kind of reminded me of some music from Streets of Rage, so you might want to turn this shit up when you're beating people up and maybe eating some trash can chicken. I also really like the song Andromeda featuring Dram, who sounded really great alongside 2D's vocals, and the beat on this one has some very thick, pulsating bass and spacey synth work throughout it. So that was one of my favorite tracks, just had a really cool vibe to it. And the Britpop anthem featuring Jenny Beth and Noel Gallagher called We Got the Power was kind of fun too. It's just this very inspirational, upbeat track, and I thought it was a nice way to end the album, at least the regular edition, because then the deluxe edition does go on for another 6 tracks, I believe. And as you can see, there are a lot of great features all over this thing, man. I think a lot of the features really carried some of these tracks. The Apprentice is this very groovy track with some more great vocals, especially from Ray Black, 2D, and Rag & Bone Man. And Rag & Bone Man actually killed it on the hook, I thought. I really like his gruff style. I don't know too much about his music, but I thought he fit in very nicely on this track. And it was easily one of my favorites. Just has this nice little smooth groove to it. You also got Carly Simon coming through with some great vocals on Ticker Tape. This track is very mellow, and I like how her classic, more traditional style fits on there. But we got to bring up the track Submission, because this has a lot of dope moments on it as well. I liked how Kelela was singing on there with a very smooth style, just like a lot of these artists. I think she has a great voice, and I have heard her on some other songs. But what got kind of weird about this track is how Danny Brown comes in spitting crazy like he always does on some suicidal shit. She's singing on some more lovey-dovey, nice and smooth stuff, and then Danny Brown comes on, and the whole thing kind of gets turned upside down. So Gorillaz are known for bringing these unique sounds and putting weird features together, so some people might like that. I know it is a bit of an interesting contrast, but for me personally, as someone who's not a big Danny Brown fan, stop it. Don't start throwing tomatoes at the screen. I know how some of you love Danny Brown. I just don't vibe with him that much. So for that track, I would have liked it maybe if someone with a more smooth style came in on there. It might have worked better, but hey, that's just my opinion, and it still is a pretty good track. I mean, he didn't ruin it or anything like that, but I think someone else would have fit better. But there are definitely some features on here that I did not vibe with at all, man. I did not like that single Hallelujah Money with Benjamin Clementine or Clementine. To me, this shit just sounded like being trapped on a submarine with some spooky ghost just singing in your ear because of the sonar and his really weird, haunting vocal style, man. This shit is just really different. I didn't vibe with that. And I thought the Grace Jones feature on Charger was pointless because all she's doing is talking, and I didn't care for this beat either with this repetitive distortion going on throughout. It just wasn't my type of thing. But I do got to give Grace Jones full props because she at least reminded me of her feature in that old Conan movie, which is a classic because we got to see Arnold going around punching out horses and camels. So if you haven't seen that shit before, make sure you check it out. And lastly, the other feature I didn't care for on here at all is Kilo Kish. I am familiar with her from the work that she did on some of Vince Staples' older projects, but I don't know, man. I didn't care much for her style then, and I still don't. She just kind of sounds like a valley girl, man. It's like I was listening to Cher from Clueless rap, because the way that she raps, how she goes like this, and then just just not my thing, man. Maybe some people like it, but meh. Not a big fan of it. But since I did mention Clueless, do y'all remember how fine Stacey Dash used to be? Man, she used to look tasty, but now she looks like she had her soul sucked out of her by Skeletor. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up, and I give this one a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's all out trash. I don't think it's great. It's just a 3, which means it's good. The shit is really long. It's really jumbly. There are some highs on this thing. There are a couple moments I like, but then there's too many lows and way too many mans. Like, I found myself skipping through way too many tracks just to get to the moments that I liked. And I think that'll be the same for a lot of people because it's not really a project that's very cohesive, and it doesn't sound like the type of thing you want to sit down to and listen to from beginning to end unless you got a lot of time and you like interludes and 26 goddamn tracks. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm rambling all over the place like I usually do. So hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts, and make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, man, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and of course, man, you got to subscribe to my channel, click like on the Facebook page, and swing by my Instagram. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.